All right, happy Monday, folks. We are going to be focusing on Runeterra and variety stuff between now and when the Magic set releases on Thursday. So we're diving in this morning with some Fiora's Dragons. So this Demacia Targan Dragons archetype is something that's been a few different people have been working on. One thing I noticed that I didn't really like, so I've changed it, that a lot of their builds were doing, is a lot of builds were only playing Oriensol as their only champion, and I just couldn't figure out a good reason why we wouldn't just include another good champion in the deck. So Oriensol's a great piece of top end tier. Has Spell Shield, so generally speaking, you get to do something with him before he dies. Has Fury, so he gets bigger when he kills things in combat. And then when you play him, he invokes a Celestial card that costs 7 or more. And at the round start, he gets you another Celestial card. So even if your opponent has double removal to kill through him before he does much, he still invoked you a, generally speaking, pretty powerful card. So remember, the Celestials that cost 7 or more include a lot of really good finishers in them, such as like the Scourge. So generally speaking, you're generating some good value out of this card. His level up ability is round end if you have 20 plus total power, and obviously he meets half that requirement on his own, so generally speaking it's not terribly hard to level this up. And his leveled mode, in addition to getting you a Celestial card every turn, also makes all your Celestial cards cost 0. So leveled dragon ends the game very quickly. So the rest of this deck is other dragons that are on theme. Kind of the big dragon payoff in this archetype is Herald of Dragons. Makes all your dragon allies cost 1 less. So this makes things like our White Flame Protectors and our Fused Firebrands and our Screeching Dragons all come down a turn sooner. Then the other kind of dragon card in the archetype is Dragon's Clutches, which can either make your dragons in play larger or draw you 2. So it's kind of some card advantage here. And then the big thing that you need to do in this archetype is kind of stay alive to get to your bigger plays. So a second natural champion to include in this archetype felt like Fiora. This is a cheap challenger unit that levels up when she's killed things, and she has technically an alternate win condition where if she's killed 4+ things, you win the game, but we're mostly just playing this as a cheap card that lets us control the board and stay alive, and we might on occasion level or win the game with her because the dragons with their Fury mechanic do play well with things like single combat and concerted strike, and even Judgment here can be a blowout with Fiora on occasion. But for the most part, this is not a Fiora deck so much as it's a deck that's playing Fiora as a cheap unit to help us control the board early. Hey, thanks for the tip, dude. Like, we had a couple of subs in there too while I was doing the deck breakdown. Welcome back, Fisherman's Enemy TV. I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how it feels. Add main with the 41 months. Welcome back. Appreciate the Prime folks. Thanks for keeping me around. Sounds good, dude. Yeah, the Into the Breach seemed like the puzzle games tend to go over well. And had pretty good reception on the YouTubes. That's true too. Fiora is kind of a must-answer threat, so she will hopefully draw some removal in her direction. Okay, Solari, Shieldbreaker, and Radiant Guardian sound like fine things to start. I don't think I want Concerted Strike in the opener. I probably need more things to play to the board. I think there's a good chance this and this trade off in combat. I'd like to find other 3, 4s, and 5s. Yeah, Portal was a lot of fun yesterday. Declan and I, Declan actually asked me if we could play more of it, and we probably spent an hour last night off stream playing the Portal co-op together.
Hey there. Don't mind the knife. Scorching light.
Yeah, I just don't really feel Elvish Rage like I need an early game combat trick. Like, I don't I don't have that many early game units, so having an early game combat trick doesn't really feel like it makes sense. I'm just gonna do this to draw 2 dragons. Hopefully we find a 4-drop. So really hoping to draw a Fiora or a 4-drop dragon next turn. Don't want to attack this into their 2-1. You know, honestly, I think I just need to spend my resources this turn, and I'm gonna go ahead and have this strike this. Hey, Yaku, thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub. I appreciate the 24 months. Welcome back. Yeah, Gilding Guiding Touch slips into the mid-game as well, and Guiding Touch can heal us in the early turn, so it's a little bit more proactive. Doesn't depend on having something in play. If they open on attacks here, I'm going to go ahead and trade for this and then play Radiant Guardian out, which should hopefully let us stabilize the board a good bit. Okay, so they didn't open on attacks here. I think that means I just want to go ahead and play out a blocker. Have I played any Team Up Fist since Sargon came out? I have not.
Punish transgressions.
So I'm gonna go ahead and trade this here, and then we'll block here. We're gonna take 4 total down to 14. This takes 2, but it gets bigger because it has Fury, so it ends up at 6-4. I have 6 total mana this turn. I think we just play the Screeching Dragon out here and plan to gobble up the Prowling Cutthroat. Hey, thanks for 31 months, Mr. Lifeguard. Hope you're staying safe out there. Yeah, next open is Saturday. Which, speaking of the open, I'm gonna say this a couple times over the next couple days, so I can hopefully reach them. A Twitch sub had been kind enough to make the graphics overlays I used for the open, and I can't for the life of me remember their username. And Discord removed the ability to search messages based on their content. So, if you're the wonderful Twitch sub that made my overlays, please DM me. I would appreciate it. Otherwise, I'll have to find someone else to update them. Does hooking the ephemeral count as killing it? It does. So, Sajani is almost leveled. What day is the delayed broadcast of the open? Asking the real questions. I think we're single combating these two. And then I can play Radiant Guardian out afterwards. So their Sejanis are going to be leveled from this Make It Rain. Max just gonna go ahead and pass here, because they're the ones that need to be aggressive, so, as you will. I don't want to play out Radiant Guardian and then have them play a second Sejani and make this vulnerable and frostbitten.
Ancient thing trapped in the ice.
Okay, now we'll play this out.
Open wide, sugar.
So we'll take 1 here. It's not a big deal because their things are already leveled. Next turn, we're definitely opening on attacks. Hey, Squid, good morning. Salvage is an interesting one to fit into their deck. I wonder if they're not playing Shark, or if they're just, like, super greedy. So, we're going to start the turn by attacking before they can play another Sejani out. I'm going to attack with both of these. We'll challenge that. Morning Pelly. So, Dragon here will get a little bit bigger from the Fury mechanic. They'll gain 5 off of the Radiant Guardian.
Yeah, you don't want to cross me.
Shape the skies and mold the earth.
Shape the skies and mold the earth.
Fish and water.
So this says whenever an ally with Fury kills an enemy for the first time each round, create a random dragon in hand. So I think I am gonna do this, and then I think we're single combating to kill this.
Your kind, dragon.
This will generate us a random dragon, so it's gobbling it up. Oh, I'm dumb. So this already killed something with Fury. Okay, I thought it was... I didn't read this close enough. When an ally with Fury kills an enemy for the first time each round, create a random dragon in hand. Okay, so I thought it was one generation for each different unit, but it's just total for the round, so it's good to know.
Only the strong survive. Bow to no one.
So I feel like the suggestions you are making, Elvish Rage, are just like, you're making suggestions for things that are helping us win when we're already ahead, whereas the way I wanted to approach building this deck was keep things alive, and then like, I shouldn't need to, if I need to play cards to make my giant dragons better, my deck's probably not playable, is basically the TLDR of how I think you need to approach building this deck. Like, if you play a bunch of cards that are only good when you already have a bunch of dragons out, then like, you're playing these really expensive cards that you then need to play other cards with to make them better, and that's just not good enough. And honestly, I'm not sure that we can beat Sejani at this point. So they had another Sejani off the Babbling Berg, and like with the warning shot, so leveled Sejani frostbites all of our stuff every time we take damage each round. So like these warning shots are basically fogs at this point that I like have to get through.
You started without me.
Bristle, attack.
Look out there!
So do I take my dragons and just like throw them in front of some of these things? I think so. I don't think I can take 9 here. So I think we take 3 and have these take hits. So those are stunned, but again, like these warning shots that are hanging out are just, they're brutal. It's like basically, I have to like make attacks that are good enough that they use the warning shot. And the problem is that they find Gangplank at any point, leveled Gangplank attacks and kills all my things. And like, my removals... What? Oh, okay. or the 8-mana spells. Those are Judgment, which is also not very good while Sejani's in play locking out my board. So I think I play White Fury Protector here, because I don't mind trading White Fury Protector for the Riptide Rex. I don't think the overlay works on mobile, Jin. There's a possibility if they're on mobile, they're not gonna be able to see it. Okay, so they're out of warning shots that we know about. So if we can fade warning shots and leveled gang playing.
They would fall by my blade.
And this is a burst spell, so I can't respond to this or this. So now I have to take things and throw them away inside of combat. Level Sejani, it's just impossible. Didn't feel particularly competitive.
We will regain what we have lost.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing evening streams every day this week, Time Lord. Every weekday, moving forward. You can find the schedule up on my website, my Twitter, and the Discord, and all that jazz. How's that been working? Well, we've done it for a total of 2 days, so I'm gonna reserve judgment until I've done it for a little bit. Leona, Diana. So definitely don't want Judgment in the opener. I think I'm mulliganing the 6-drop too. We'll keep the 2 and the 4, looking for some other cheaper things. Like, our deck has so much top end. I think we basically always mulligan top end to start, looking for lower parts of our curve, because we're definitely going to have big expensive things later on. It's a great pickup, so we'll be able to Herald of Dragons on 2, and then this is 3, 4, 5 then, which is excellent.
And here's where I'd paint my constellation.
Third Hurricane is the charm. Hope you're staying safe out there. Alright, so now it's a question, do I play Solari Shield Bearer to gain 3, or do I play this to start playing dragons ahead of curve? Can we just take the hit and start playing dragons ahead of curve?
Ooh, that's new.
Diana can sometimes be aggressive, but Leona makes me think they're probably a little bit more mid-rangey. So hopefully they're not gonna be punish us for taking a hit there. Am I willing to trade this for this and put an extra damage on here? I don't think so. I think I just pass. Remember, this is a temporary bonus the turn they play it because of the Daybreak trigger. So this will turn back into a 2/2 next turn. Hi, Jacob. That's a paper with stars on it.
Why do you need them?
Mommy made it.
Why?
How was your first class this morning?
Mommy made it. Tell me why.
It was to help me know what Declan's keyboard was upstairs.
Movie. Okay.
How'd you lose tooth? Super loose. Wow, really surprised they didn't Really surprised they didn't attack there. I guess they really didn't want to hit into the 3/6. I'm gonna play Screeching Dragon, kind of expecting... Oh, this is only on Daybreak 2 out of 4. Okay, sweet. So Dragon's gonna hopefully get to eat something in combat here.
Oh, we buy. Why, mommy? Why, daddy? We buy. Why?
The dragon. He's scary, huh?
Unyielding light.
Oh, that is thing.
Okay, so with their 3/6 being played, I don't have other good attacks out here. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and eat a 2/2 here.
It's drunk.
It's a little better, 'cause my guy's got 5 attack now. And 5 bigger than 2, right?
Wait. We got 6, mom. We got 6, daddy.
We do have 6 resources, you're right. Hey,
That means play the 6 card.
I am gonna play the 6 card, I think. Look at him, he's pretty cool, huh?
Oh, what is that? What is that, daddy?
It's a dragon. It's the Vox Dragon.
A box dragon? What box dragon?
This is a Vox Dragon.
What box dragon look like?
Like, looks like that.
Sunlight guides you,
Oh.
brethren.
Only
Behold the
with
divine
area?
power of the sun.
Only with cold area, right?
Yep. Thoughts on Trundle Dragons? I feel like, and this is something, I forgot to talk about this during the opener. I feel like this is an archetype that overall is going to get a lot better when we...
We rise.
Overall is going to get a lot better when we get more sets into the game. Okay, Jacob, I love you, but if you want to hang out, you got to be quiet, okay?
Feel the sun's glory.
Yep, good hang out.
I could help you.
Follow the horizon.
Scorching light.
That's a good point, Lampton. There is some value to killing the Celestial because of their bigger Behold spells, though.
You cannot sway me.
So it's not a strictly better, strictly worse type thing, I don't think. I think we block like this. They're out of resources. Taking 6 here is fine. All those straight off. I get a random dragon. So I have 7 mana total here. I think I want to play 2 units out this turn. I think I want to start by attacking and see what they do. This stuns something every time they trigger Daybreak, so if I play something else out and they play a Daybreak card, this will just stun my box. So I think we start by attacking. I'm pretty okay offering this trade. If they Pale Cascade me and block here, I'm a little bit sad, but that also gives me a window to play Radiant Guardian with Lifesteal and Tup, so I think that's fine. That is correct. All Daybreak cards are slow speed units or spells. Is accurate. So this cannot stun in combat, which is nice.
The skies.
I think I'm just going as wide as possible here with White Flame plus Fiora.
That's right.
This one? It's the White Flame Protector. See how it's got white fire on it?
That means it could protect us.
It does protect us.
Oh.
So they have an elusive unit here, which is pretty scary. Elusive, again, a keyword that says we can't block it. Although I suppose we can challenger it down next turn, potentially. Really looking to draw, like, the fact that we just keep drawing more dragons as opposed to fight spells feels really bad here. We have Vox generating us more dragons. We have a lot of dragons. We're playing a dragon deck.
Sunlight
That is
burns
really
in all
good.
mountains.
This is going to stun 2 of our things. No, they don't have a dragon deck. Because they're playing different cards.
All because.
Well, feeling pretty far behind here.
We need some cannon. Max.
We need a shark cannon. I agree. We would be better off if we had a shark cannon.
Yeah, and we put the shark cannon in the dragon deck.
The dragons don't have sharks though. That's very sad.
Shark cannon.
Jacob understands what cards are good in Runeterra. Shark cannon's good. Alright, so easy.
Goody. Put a cup in the hole.
So easy trade here. I think I chump block here with the white flame protector. You were actually kind of quiet. We need dial-up dragon. Yeah, dial-up dragon would be a good generation. I think dial-up dragon makes you don't know what dial-up is, and you never will, and you are a lucky child.
Why do you? He doesn't know what the dial-up is.
Okay, single combat is stellar. I get to go ahead and open on attacks here, challenge this. Oh, I should have obviously attacked with Fiora and gotten her a free kill. Should have obviously attacked with Fiora and gotten her a free kill. I was just so excited to draw single combat, chat. So now we can play Radiant Guardian and White Flame Protector here, which is great, and then we can single combat to kill Leona. We've got a lot of White Flame Protectors.
I make every 100.
100? Please, we got a lot of fused Firebrains too.
Well, I'll be Daddy.
Glorious light rains down.
Something like that.
Virtue guides me.
Hitting this means we're gonna have a triple spell turn, which is really good. He does have a shield, you're right.
I want to go on.
The gold one means she has armor.
Oh,
See, she's really strong. She's got powerful armor. She's radiant.
Super radiant, right?
Super D-duper radiant.
Oh, crumble. Crumble. Shut up.
Yes, Declan.
Where's here?
I was, yep.
Was two. Now is one.
Now from upstairs.
Siblings want
Okay, so now the question is, am I fighting and killing Leona, or am I fighting and killing the elusive? I think we're killing the elusive.
Yeah. That's good idea. That's a great idea.
This will be quick.
Look, it. You don't need that star because I'm finding armor web is witch. Armor web. Wait.
Our strength is forever at its zenith.
And this is the downside to sequencing the way I did here, is it gives them the chance to Day Spear, and now they get to stun a couple of my things. I can play out a couple of dragons though. At least they're not going to be able to stun Radiant Guardian here, which basically means I'm at a virtual 15, which is nice. Radiant Guardian is this one right here, remember? We said she's super radiant.
I know.
Yes, Declan.
I know what red do. I don't know what red does. I don't remember what red does. I only remember what all the buttons, all the under ones.
Alright, we'll talk about your game later, okay?
I want to see what you do.
You can sit with us too. Yeah, that's fine. The children are currently on break from their live classes.
I got a super boat. I am big.
Clad in shining
Okay,
sunlight.
and again, because it's always sunny in Runeterra. Oh, the spell shield blocks the stun. That's really good. So another spell shield here is excellent. So pretty good blockers. If we make it out of this turn, alive, I feel like we're in a very good spot. Yeah, this is excellent. Okay, and there's a guiding touch. So we're definitely just like opening on attacks.
Don't have enough baggage. We will do forever.
That's my only challenger. So I think we just do that and smash. I just have so much beef in my hand that, like, if they trade off for any of my things, it's not a big deal.
Witness divinity.
Feels like we're kind of crossing that gap where, like, the game was close. If this puts us up to 15, we get to deploy another Radiant Guardian, we get to deploy a Fused Firebrand, like... Obviously, they're still at 20, but our deck, like, we're the bigger deck in this matchup, so, like, as the game goes long, we're more favored to win, almost assuredly, so every turn we get out of and keep developing our board. Vox especially has been super impressive this game. While we were struggling to stay alive in the early turns, Vox has created just so much gas for us that... Hey, Reckless, thank you for the 5 months. I'm really glad you're enjoying the Runeterra stuff. I am too. Game's a lot of fun. Goodbye, Shark. We didn't win yet. There's still have 13 points left.
We got.
We have 15.
That is
The light of my star warms the
what
heavens.
happened? Our point got. What happened? We got 0 points.
Morning, Big Mama. Hey, the Butler. I blame you for my newfound level of Runeterra. Haven't played Magic or Hearthstone in weeks. When we get 0 points, we lose. We don't want to get to 0. It's really just genuinely good, Butler.
So, okay, you get more points than on your team?
Right now we do, yep.
But we both have 10, well, they don't have 10 anymore.
So this is gonna do that, and then this will stun nothing, right? It's just breaking a spell shield, so that's fine. I think I want to play Vox out here, so that way we can have start generating some more blockers.
Up to like a weapon too, though?
Recon Bravo team, thank you for the 16 months. So I don't have a strict intro video for Runeterra because I honestly don't think I could do a better video than you could get from just playing the tutorial. So if you're interested in checking out Runeterra and you haven't done it before, I would recommend just installing it on PC or mobile, and then installing it on PC or mobile, and then playing through the tutorial. And not only does the tutorial have a bunch of not only does the tutorial do a good intro, but it has a bunch of extra optional levels as well that really teach you the ins and outs of the game. Really surprised they're offering this trade here. This gives us another dragon with Vox for the turn, which is great. Hey, there's the infinite splinters, so that's great. So, and there's a single combat. Okay, so again, really feels like we're kind of getting over, we're over the hump, and I don't think they're gonna be able to really get out of this at this point.
Okay.
We're gonna squish them like pancakes, I agree. So, Infinite Splinter here picks 2 things when it comes into play. And then at the start of every turn, this is going to go ahead and stun these. So they're basically out of commission. Opponents conceding the splinters. We did win, yep. V stands for victory. These are other people playing the card game too on their computers.
Okay.
We will definitely play more of the Portal game today after you're done with school, okay?
What game?
You can see tonight. Just when I play some more, okay?
Minecraft is a pro game?
So, Vi Elise.
Minecraft is a pro game?
Nobody. Vi Elise is probably a control deck, but I think, again, regardless of what we're playing against with this deck, I think we mostly just mulligan everything that costs 5+ to start, just digging for our bottom end, because there's so much top end in our deck that, like, you're almost guaranteed to have fun of it. So, really hoping to draw our 2s and 3s here in our first couple of turns. Yeah, my commentary on having plenty of top end showing off. Really seeing. And one of the things to think about too is looking at our build versus some of the other. So versus some of the other builds. Vox generates it. So if a card is pulling something out of your deck, it will say it will Jacob, you need to let Daddy talk. So if a card is drawing something out of your deck, it'll say draw. Whereas Aurum Vox, do I have a Vox in hand? It says, yeah, create a random dragon. So not being pulled from the deck. I think we're just playing Fuse Firebrand here. This has Spell Shield, so it takes two things for them to kill through. Oh, that's gonna level Elise. Wait, no, don't pass. Oh, I forgot to single combat. Oh, they're doing something else. Deal. Is this gonna work out? Static Shock. Alright. I'd like to have you two fight. Elise levels if they have 3+ spiders at the start of the turn, so. Although I suppose if they have another Elise here, we could get into trouble. They still get to level her.
Yeah, that's good, right?
No, we don't want them to have another Elise. See? Now she's gonna level up her scary spiders.
My true beauty.
Oh no, it's the Spider Queen.
We'll have a spiders.
We do not. We're a dragon deck. They're a spider deck.
Oh, yeah.
So they have lots of spooky spiders in the Spider Queen, and we've got big dragons.
They have like the big dragon claw. They beat the spider queen.
It is the Spider Queen, yep.
Like a dragon.
A Dragon King? There's not a Dragon King right now. Kinda. Oriental is a space dragon.
What?
He's the biggest dragon.
At all time?
So they're killing our dragons, but we're killing the queen. So I think that's probably a win for us overall.
Yep. Stand up
Well, what number is bigger, 20 or 12? 12 is lower, yep. So we have less points right now.
Well, they're still up there.
Yep, 20 is where you start. So, Aurum Vox uses our resources most efficiently here. Remember, we can bank up to 3 mana across turns, so this extra mana is going to carry over. That's a Vengeance, sure. Feels like we're in an okay spot here still. Opponent's got some threats in play, but I have 8 total mana this turn. I think I want to mine Splinters here. I think I'm going to go ahead and play Vox. We'll see what they do.
I'm doing this my way.
There's a Vi. So, Vi gets bigger every time they play any card. I think I'm just going to go ahead and have my dragon strike her. They only have 3 resources left, so this should just kill her. When Haley grows up, where will she sit? I don't know. I'll have to bring another chair in.
The dragon.
I usually have an extra computer chair down here with me, but it's upstairs now because we use it in their schoolroom. So, dragon gets bigger with Fury. Yep, when the dragon eats somebody, he gets mad and gets bigger. Not, he's gonna eat the spider and get bigger. Oh, or not. Oh, we can eat the spider.
Wait, if he eats the dragon, if he will we just get Konami?
Look at him. Rawr. He's got 7 attack now.
He eat a key. So if you eat the wait.
You get 1 more attack every time you eat somebody.
That means might be invisible.
Opponent opening on attacks here, getting pretty aggressive. I don't think I'm supposed to. Declan, you need to go upstairs. You have a class. Yeah. You're probably late. Alright, so do I want to single combat here? Probably not. I think we just go to 7. So, nothing's died yet this turn. I have 9 total mana. I think we're just playing out Screeching Dragon. Ruination. Yeah, it seems fine, right? A lot of value in it here. And we're actually going up to 10 mana next turn, right? They ate them all. So I think we play Solari Shieldbreaker here, and then next turn we get to go ahead and play Aesol. Better call Aesol.
The guy track.
He's the Cosmic Space Dragon.
Yeah, we need that. We need it.
We need the Cosmic Space Dragon. These are special cards we get to pick from.
I created it.
It's a supernova.
Sun will bloom.
Obliterate the top 5 cards of your deck. Deal 1 damage to the enemy for each. Deal 1 damage to all enemies for each. Wow, that's gross.
That's crazy.
Behold, my masterwork.
Yeah, we could definitely get burned out here. I think we go ahead and do this, and then we can smack them for 11. We could definitely just get burned out next turn though. We're thermo beaming Aesol, sure.
Boys,
I
we got all strategies, okay? We got a big good dragon in the hole, okay? Oh no. No.
They killed our dragon, Jake. That's okay.
We got all your
Definitely on the Dubs Radiant Guardian plan this turn to try. Yep, she's super radiant.
You got that one.
Virtue guides me.
Hoping we don't get Mystic Shotted out of the game. Or get excited. Yep. That'll do, pig. That'll do. We lost. Yep. D stands for defeat.
We never win, okay?
This archetypes, we never won. We won the one before that, you little pessimist.
Oh.
Remember we saw the victory screen?
We got the game.
Our deck's definitely feeling more than a little bit clunky. We lost that last game based squarely on the fact that we didn't have any plays till turn 5, right? They like got an early aggression down and then were able to burn us out because of it. And again, like looking at my build here that I've put together, my build actually has more lower curve cards than a lot of the builds other people have been working on of this archetype. I tend to try and be less greedy than what other people are on average. I feel like we probably need to trim some more of the top end out of this and like get more lower cost cards in here. Like maybe these 4 cost dragons aren't good enough. Definitely feels like we just don't have like we don't have enough to do early. I feel like I probably need at least 1 more unit to play on turns 2 and 3. Not having plays till 4 and 5 is just not good enough in this game most of the time. Whoa, that tooth is really loose, bud. I think it's gonna pop out soon. Remember, when it pops out, that's okay, okay? It just means your adult tooth is pushing up. You'll have big teeth like your dad and your mom.
Shut up, boy, okay?
Dragon Herald. We're playing Dragon Herald, Fizzy Death. It's just you need a critical mass of cards to play early so that way you can have them consistently. So right now, we have Dragon Herald, 2 Solari Shieldbreakers, and 3 Fiora. So we only have 8 cards that I can proactively play before turn 4.
Wait,
So we probably want 11 to 14 cards that we can proactively play before turn 4 to have better use of our mana on average, I think. Opponent not having plays on 2 or 3 here is really good for us, though. Oh, did they time out? It's the biggest wall in the 2 or 3 thoughts. So definitely Solari Shieldbreaker. So I can definitely get a third copy of that. It's more so I need to take a look at the list and figure out what else we're cutting. Spacey Sketcher. I really don't like Spacey Sketcher as a card. It's really been super underwhelming in the times where I've played it. Spacey Sketcher is... I don't have one. Maybe I can show you after we're done with the game, okay?
The dragon?
No, she's not a dragon. Okay, but in 4 minutes you have your next class, okay? So you'll have to go upstairs. But you can hang out until then. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll challenge Kalista here. Just try and get her off the board. We're Vile Feasting that. Do I want to use single combat on this to trade it off as well? I think so. Yeah, the second judgment could be something to get rid of. Yeah, Solari Priestess is definitely something that could be worth considering. It's definitely a good high quality card, individually strong. It just like gives us something to do with our mana early and gives us some flexibility. Generate like 4 mana plays, like you said, is decent.
Everyone's a garden.
We're gonna take a big hit this turn, huh? So they're gonna hook both of our things and then crack us for 11 down to 9. Hey, Nick Jong, thank you for sending that Prime support this week, and I really appreciate it. Welcome back. Brute Z, thank you for the 21 months. Okay, bud, your class is gonna be starting in a minute. You need to go upstairs. I love you. You can come back down afterwards. So I think we definitely start the turn by attacking here, because if they want to trade with this in combat, I would like to play Radiant Guardian out. Yeah, Laurent Protege is another card that could potentially be okay. Very, very similar to Fiora, which is nice.
You have to get me out of here.
I will say this, the Vox here has probably been just one of the most impressive cards of this archetype to me so far. Really generates a super steady flow of value. John, thank you for the 19 months, I appreciate it. It honestly might be, so I've only got 1 Mind Splinters in here, but honestly that might be the cut. Like the second Judgment and the Mind Splinters, those are probably the things I want to get rid of to fit in more things. We're up to 11 mana here with our spell mana, so we'll probably, if they don't open attacks, we'll play another dragon and then we'll Concerted Strike. I could also potentially Concerted Strike, Guiding Touch, and White Flame Protector. Maybe that's better. Kind of expecting them to open attacks though. Although Radiant Guardian makes that somewhat of a challenge for them. This card's a real brick wall for aggro to get through. Yeah, I think this is definitely an archetype that can like only get better as we get more cards added to the format. I think I'm striking here. This will end with me at 15. That seems good. I haven't had anything die, but I can go ahead and play Screeching Dragon out here as another challenger. or as a first challenger. And like, next turn I can play a another Screeching Dragon and then start mowing down their board. Yeah, I've heard some other people say that we're supposed to be getting a Demacia Dragon Champion, which could definitely help.
Oh, fresh soil.
Fresh soil.
By my honor, you must die.
You must die. Okay, so challenge you, trade here. They'll get to chump block here with their 2-1, but I'll gain 5, so I'm fine with that. There's no reason to throw this into combat into the other one. But I'm definitely willing to give up a point of toughness on here to gain 5 life. Really? They prioritize doing 2 extra damage there. That's interesting. This game feels pretty over. Oh, they're utilizing these to these. Okay, sure.
Everyone's a god.
Okay, so they're just setting up They Who Endure at this point. Is the plan. There's gonna be a They Who Endure happen here.
This is the end, Aurelian. We start with Targon. Honestly, who loses with a space dragon on their side?
Orion Sol is so salty. He's so salty, chat. Yeah, so I think I need some more cheaper plays. Honestly, like talking about like the They Who Endure that just happened there, it could be right to get some hushes into here too. And like for all the complaining that a lot of people in the community do about the card Hush, like I think Hush is an important card to give counterplay against things like what we saw there. So like I know there's a lot of people that are like think this card needs to be changed for whatever reason, but I think this card's actually really important in having ways to balance things like They Who Endure in counterplay. So like I have a card like this that I can reach for to help. These are not toys. You need to stop playing with them. You're going to wear them out. These are part of mommy's game.
What does they mean wearing now?
So yeah, maybe Hush is better than Guiding Touch. I could see that be the case. I have 3 more slots here, but like again, talking about my like looking at the curve of this deck really shows the curve of this deck really highlights the issues that I'm talking about in terms of what does the deck look like with what you're doing. So honestly, these Concerted Strikes might also be, you know, a little bit much in here looking at the curve. Yeah, I want a couple of Hushes for utility, and then I think I want one other 3 or 4 drop. So what are 3 and 4 mana units I can play? Guess we could technically look at 2s as well. I don't think there's any 2s that really fill out a role that I'm looking for. Laurent Protege could be right. Just another cheap challenger unit to help you control the board. It could just be Solari Priestess. The problem with her is, again, that, like, I just have so many expensive things in this deck that, like, she's invoking more expensive things. And, like, if you look at these games that we're playing, especially the games we're losing, we keep dying with a bunch of cards in our hand. So, like, playing cards that generate more expensive cards don't sound particularly appealing.
Where are those, like... Oh,
Yeah, I think Hush is in a really good spot as is. I think Hush,
decks?
This is our deck. We're looking at all of our cards. So our curve looks a little bit less embarrassing here now. The big thing that Hush does is not that what it does. One of the things that's most telling to me that makes it feel like Hush is in an okay spot is Hush isn't even an auto 3 of in most Targon decks that are playing it, right? Like a lot of Targon decks are only playing 1 to 2 of them depending on what the deck looks like. And I think that that's probably a pretty good sign as well, that, like, it's in an okay power level.
There's a bunch of tape on here.
I don't know, bud. Yeah, that too. Like, They Who Endure is a staple in the format regardless. So, they're playing an aggressive deck with Misfortune and Gangplank. I'm definitely mulliganing the 5. I think I'm keeping the rest of these. I might be right to mulligan for my 2s and 3s, though. Hey, perfect. There's the 3. Lovely. So we get to go this into this here. Again, being rewarded for dragging our curve down a little bit here already. Just super, super happy to have a 2 into a 3 this game. I'd have to look at the full set of data, but I'm pretty sure the Endure decks were still doing okay even when... This is a good draw. Even when the Targon decks were ever at the start of the season. How do you decide when to play cards as 1, 2, or 3 ofs? Do you always want to draw the card? Play 3 of them. I think I'm just single combating here to keep my life total high against their aggro deck. Am I? Maybe I'm not.
You cannot sway me.
Just gonna do this. We'll play Laurent Protege next turn. Yeah, I'm really... We should get Balin's patch notes tomorrow, right? For the patch on Wednesday. I'm interested to see if they change a whole lot of anything, because I feel like the current format's pretty reasonable, all things considered. I know they had planned some changes, like rebalancing Lee Sin and maybe adjusting Ezreal, but yeah, like so. But I'm expecting more buffs than nerfs in the patch notes when they come. I would be kind of surprised if they nerfed a bunch of stuff. We are not playing Mobilize. The deck list is on your screen. You can type ! deck in chat to get a direct link to the deck list.
Who's ready for a show?
It shuts down whole archetypes. Call. Can you give me an example of an archetype that's shut down by Hush? Ziegzel, thanks for the 25 months. Let's have a discussion about it. Be specific. What archetype do you feel is shut down by Hush? I think we just do this and get rid of their Jack here. It didn't already exist, Geg. Previously, Purify didn't hit champions. Any support archetype or buff archetype? There's literally a tier 1 deck in this format right now that's a support buff archetype. Like, the Lulu Demacia deck has been great since the start of the season. And when people were playing more Hushes, that archetype was great. Like, Hush doesn't make that deck unplayable. It gives you counterplay against that deck, which is a good thing. Decks having counterplay against them is good. Alright, I'm not gonna get into the nitty-gritty of A tier, S tier, whoever you stroke off that likes this card better or worse than the others. I hate the bullshit, arbitrary, we're labeling things as these so we can say, well, actually, Jeff, it's playable, but it's only tier 2 or tier 1.5 or blarga blarga blarga. Like, yeah, who do you ask who's making the tier list? Like, the deck's super playable, and like, saying it's only a 51% win rate. Yeah, like, that's great, chat. A 51% win rate is great. I don't know what you people expect. Like, in a well-balanced card game, I know many of you are used to playing Magic the Gathering, but in a well-balanced card game, a 51% win rate is really good. Might be dead here. So, win rates over large sample sizes are meaningful pieces of data. Win rates over small sample sizes are not meaningful pieces of data. When you have something like Mobalytics that has hundreds or thousands of matches in some cases, that's a meaningful sample size.
Is the best.
Yeah, sure. It all depends on, again, who you're asking. Yeah, like, talking about win rates over large sample sizes is important. What's up?
You win?
We did not win. Our deck's been kind of clunky and bad. Yeah, our dragons are kind of clunky. So here's the thing that a lot of players don't want to admit that I think is worth talking about and could be why we could see a change to Hush. Hush feels bad to play against. That's the honest assessment of Hush. All this BS about it locks certain decks out of the metagame or makes certain decks unplayable is just untrue nonsense that people who are letting their feels get in the way of reals are making up to justify a card that feels bad. And Runeterra in the past has adjusted cards that feel bad to play against. And if that's something they want to do, I think that's okay. But all of this, like, trying to interject your feelings like they're reality or objective data is nonsense. The data largely disagrees with the idea that this card is powerful or holding these things back. Because it's not.
Bobby calls. Somebody.
No prey, no pay.
Alright, we really need to draw 2 or 3 here. We're gonna get hit for a lot. Drew a 10, yep. Yeah, I agree with that, Violet Journey. They who endure is a similarly feels bad card, especially when paired with Atrocity. So like, there's a balance, right? So like, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to balance things based on how the game feels to play. Games should be fun. And balancing around making the games fun as opposed to strictly balancing around win rates is a fine thing to be doing. In fact, I think a lot of Magic the Gathering's problems over the course of the last year and a half have been because they're trying to balance too much of their game around statistics and not caring enough about how the game actually feels to play. When you look at game balance as purely numbers on a spreadsheet, your game is not going to be good a lot of the time. Okay. We need our dragons to get better. I think our dragons might not be very good, Jacob, but that's okay. You can't win all the time. It's okay to lose sometimes when you play games.
The dragons are not very good.
The dragons are not very good. I think Declan's assessment might be correct. It's a Twitch chat level assessment.
Wait, is this the list of like all like the games you play? On with the red one? Is this the list of all the games you play?
No, this is our calendar, and it shows. Well, I guess it does show some of the games that I play on it, but there's also shows Jake's classes up here, so I can see when to tell him to go upstairs.
So the orange ones are like when
It's okay to lose sometimes. It's something a lot of players really need to listen to. Yeah. Yep. Need to working hard to instill that in my children early. I think we're just dead again.
5 minute break.
You do have a short break. You're right. Yeah, I agree, man. I think this is an archetype that has potential. Like I said, it really feels like it's missing. I'm gonna try one more match here. It really feels like it's missing another good early game card. Need a different deck. No, we're gonna try one more with this one.
Oh, and it. Okay.
He is quite large. Chad thinks you're huge. Are you huge?
How I'm being with that guy? With that big strong beast.
Okay, so single combat's probably not great here early. Again, just mulliganing my top end, I think. I'm going to keep Fiora and the White Flame. Runeterra at this time, it says they don't currently have plans for a rotation. Yes.
Thank you.
I do have a spider deck.
Try it.
We're going to play, remember that bunny game where you move around with the rabbit? Called Baba. We're gonna play some Baba after this. You guys can. I think you're gonna have a class soon, Jacob.
We speak with blades.
See like all the Baba. Why I want to see Baba.
Okay, buddy. You need to go upstairs. You have a class, okay?
Okay.
Good listening. Thank you.
You're covered.
Yeah. What is rotation? So in other card games like Hearthstone and Magic, in order to keep pushing people to buy cards from their latest sets, they create multiple formats where they create multiple formats where they create multiple formats where only cards from the most recent sets are legal in those formats. It basically makes cards obsolete.
This thing over here, that's like the time of like a whole game.
It is a whole day. Yep, that's the day Daddy's having a tournament on Saturday. How many children do I have? I have 3. Jacob and Declan are 5 and 6, and then Haley is 3 months old. So Leona is nowhere near leveled here, so I think we're pretty in the clear to play something out pre-combat. So we'll go ahead, before we attack, we'll play Screeching Dragon. Rotation may happen in 2022 if they keep up this release schedule. I think it's not great. So I honestly would not be surprised if we see Runeterra try to push for not having a rotation in their game. Because Runeterra is not monetarily structured in a way that they have to sell packs to be profitable, because they're so heavily monetized around cosmetics. I think we could definitely see them try and do something a bit different. And like try to, and because they balance cards so actively, yeah, with the ability to rebalance cards, I think they could keep adding cards to the card pool and expanding the game and just add more decks constantly without having a rotating format be the face of what they want to do. We'll just pass here for now, especially with the Judgment in hand, can maybe blow out in combat. We do both have 6. Yep, every turn everybody gets a resource.
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way.
Does 4 make 6?
Do you think without rotation it might be difficult to maintain the balance of cards? No, I don't think so. Like, again, people think it's hard. While it's not strictly easy to do game design, it's way easier than Magic and Wizards of the Coast and people that have played those games would have you believe if you're not terrified to use the tools you have available to you. So, like, if you are willing to make things adjust cards in all directions, it's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, rotations exist largely to sell cards, not to balance the game. And while there are some players that prefer those formats, she leveled up, yep. She got stronger. While there are some players that prefer those game modes, like, as someone, like, there's a reason why, for example, like, formats like Modern tend to be the most popular in paper Magic when that was a thing.
Dad, what are they using?
Yeah, Runeterra just has objectively more tools to balance their game than Magic does. What are we doing here? I think I'm just gonna attack with all my stuff. I think we need to kill It's Always Sunny. Sure, and again, I wasn't disagreeing with your idea, low-key. I was disagreeing with your reasoning for why it needs to happen. I think saying that Hush frequently feels bad to play against and we should adjust it because it feels bad to play against, I think that's a valid concern. I think saying Hush is too powerful and it pushes decks out of the format is some hot nonsense that shouldn't be entertained. That's also true, what Brinkwater says. When economic incentives conflict with your game design, it becomes harder to balance your game. Is definitely true. So, I think at this point, I'm going to try and Judgment here with the Screeching Dragon, huh? We are going to play Baba, yep. Yep. See, Nab is actually a good example of a thing that I think was good to change. Opponent is conceding. Okay, yep. Judgment. Judgment's a real good blowout.
There will no match.
There's no school on that day. Yep, yeah, the days with blue are school, so it's gonna be on Saturday.
Those are Jacob's classes. Can't really see mine.
Your classes are green. Yep, I have yours up here too.
Why do you not put them up?
Plague Wind tends to do that. Alright, let's do one more. And then we'll do Baba.
Jacob's class is always up.
Well, I can hide his too. See?
Okay.
So I
I'm
can-
looking down here, so you can just hide Jacob's. You just hide Jacob's. And I'm like the only one down here.
Alright, aggro matchup. I think our hand's actually great here, huh? We're keeping all of these. Judgment should strike left to right, so it should kill the whole board.
I just class today, well, I only did 2 of them.
You did, yep. So I feel like if this hand that I currently have isn't capable of beating aggro, none of our hands are. Yeah, no problem, Fizzy Death. If you ever have a question, always feel free to ask here. They are playing a pirate aggro deck.
Even to the young bloods, we are nothing.
Okay, we played that deck, right?
We have played pirates before, yep.
If they don't break, they'll burn.
Deck.
For the glory of
My favorite deck is the snow deck right now. Ice deck.
You know, it's like the layout of like deck. It's like the one.
I think Noxious Pirates has become the most popular thing on the ladder overall.
the end of this
Definitely
world
feels very powerful. It's pretty consistent in what it does. Okay, I think Herald of Dragons has expired its usefulness at this point, and we're cashing that into block. So Misfortune here deals a damage to me and all of my battling allies. So Misfortune trigger is going to kill this, but this will still have blocked this, so we won't take damage there. So we'll only take 3 in combat here if this resolves this way. My dragons will survive and get bigger. I have enough resources at this point that I don't need the 1 cost less here anymore. I mean, 12 dragons is like a pretty decent number of dragons built in. We're gonna play some Baba after this game, I promise. Oh, because the bar's almost to the Baba on the calendar? Alright, I'm gonna start by attacking with this and see if they want to trade here. If they trade here, we get to play Radiant Guardian. We just play Fused Firebrand here as a way to be able to block Gangplank. Yes, definitely. Because it's my calendar.
I just have a lot more names than even just us.
You'll fight or you'll swim. Round 'em up.
Alright, so I think we're just playing out another large blocker here. I can play out Screeching Dragon, and then I have a Game 2 here still as well. I think Herald with 12 dragons is fine. It's also important to remember that in addition to the 12 dragons that I'm playing... Hold on one second. In addition to the 12 dragons that I'm playing, there are also the other ones that Vox generates. Plus Orient Soul, right? We're actually on... Are we on 12? Yeah, 12 includes Orient Soul. Okay, so Make It Rain is going to kill all of these. That's sad. Yes, bud. That's just a normal stream. You know, someday, if we keep working on your reading, you'll be able to just read what it says instead of asking me. So we gotta work on your letters.
There's plenty of killing left.
That's just a normal one. That what? So I turned it to like super long and that like the normal. It's almost time for Baba.
Declan likes my variety segments more than the card game segments, so he's excited for more Baba. Which, if you haven't seen Baba Is You before, it's a really sweet puzzle solving game. This says Challenger, so we'll force their Fearsome to block it. Feel like we're in a pretty good spot here. We've got Guiding Touch and Single Combat. Decimate's a little scary. Hopefully we'll get Radiant Guardian down with Lifesteal this turn.
Gotta go with the flow. My faith
Yes,
protects
Declan.
me.
Wait, way out from like the deck is the one there. Like that's really.
You like the Pirate deck?
Yeah, no, I just like the way out of it. I like the way out.
Oh, the game board? That's really unfortunate. I really needed this to die, so that way we could do that. We're technically dead to a guillotine now, or to a decimate off the top. So this will deal 3 to their thing and 3 to my face, so we are still dead, unfortunately. My single combat doesn't happen.
Come hither, you beasts of glory.
My card healed me.
Why do you have to build? Well, it's to extreme amount of time because you the
Rouse your kind, dragon.
Bilgewater is mine and mine alone.
We did. No, that's correct, Niv. So this was a build around submission, but Fiora is just a good unit. Like we do lose. 3/3 challenger for 3 is just a good rate. Because again, just to highlight, we're gonna play Baba here in just a second, bud. So again, just to highlight the kind of fundamental issue with what's going on here is, in order to play a bunch of dragons, you like need to play these expensive things, but like you also kind of want to play Radiant Guardian to stay alive. And honestly, I let myself get talked into Radiant Guardian because other people were playing it and suggested it, but I almost feel like maybe this was wrong to include. Like, while there are some games where it gets down and takes over, I feel like that last game that we played against the Pirate deck really kind of highlights how if someone understands what your deck is doing and what you're trying to accomplish, they can play around this card in a lot of ways. Yes, bud.
that cannon card they have, that's very powerful.
It's very powerful, I agree. The cannon card is very powerful, that's why I conceded. His name's Gangplank. He's super strong.
Cannon play that deck soon.
Yeah, so I feel like if I would play this again, I would probably cut these Radiant Guardians and play more cheap cards. Honestly, what's it called? Star Shaping might be an okay card to include instead of Radiant Guardian. Not only is this really good with our larger Fury things to heal them up so they can Fury some more, but because this is a spell, this could theoretically be played earlier. It could also, I saw a suggestion earlier, Remembrance could be an okay card to play too. The problem is this isn't very good against aggro if you're not attacking on odds. While this is a really good... Yeah, exactly, Pelly. I think Star Shaping is what I would like, because even when you're on the draw, like turn 3, you can Star Shaping to heal back up from the first couple of attacks that you hit. And then like when you make it to that mid game where you start deploying your 4s and 5s, you're like at 20. I kind of feel like After playing those games, though, even with changes, I kind of expect this archetype to be a little bit weak/mediocre until we get more cards to fill it out. I feel like if we just get like one more cheap card similar to Herald of Dragons that's synergistic with our theme that we're trying to do, that might be what we're looking for.
Similar dragon.
Synergistic. Do you know what that word means? It means things work well together if they have synergy. Synergy means things work well together. All right. At any rate, that's going to wrap our Runeterra for this morning.